Let's say you have a website, kind of like Google Drive, but it will take a URL as input and adds the image to your collection. So every time the server receives a request with the input URL, it will send the request to the image server asking for the image, and it adds the image to your collections. So what could possibly go wrong here? Figure it out. I'll give you 5 seconds. If you have guessed it, then that's fine. If not, you will learn now. Don't you think the process is simple and it's easy to understand, right? But you know what? It has SSRF vulnerability. Before you learn, I assume that you have some knowledge on how a web server works. If you don't, then don't worry. I will make a video on that topic. Make sure you subscribe. Okay, now what is SSRF? Server Side Request Forgery, SSRF in short. It's a type of security vulnerability that occurs when an attacker is able to make requests from server side of the application to the internal or external resources. Like in the previous example, we have made our server to make requests to an external server to get an image by giving a URL as input, right? But what if we intercept that outgoing request and able to make changes to the URL and change it to a local host? Would it send a request to itself? Maybe. It might actually work. And we'll be able to access internal services like database or admin page or something else. Because server is like a computer which can have its own local network, which consists of active services on different ports. Here are the possible services we might actually get hold of. And these ports can be accessible by manipulating the URL that you give as an input. So what if we paste localhost / admin or localhost is to 3306 for a database and localhost 21 for FTP services? It's all okay. But how do you search for that in real life? Most of the people use Burp Suite to find this kind of vulnerability. Now we have to find a post request that is outgoing. After that, search for a property with your URL or any other URL that should be going to the server, okay? Then send it to a repeater. Replace the URL with localhost. Tap on render. If you see a web page, then it works. And website has SSRF vulnerability and we are successfully exploited it.